Starting with just a patch of bad grass, Emery Schmidt and Jim Swearingen have transformed their Newport urban environment into a pocket garden, showing that big design ideas can work in small spaces.
I started in the toy business in the 70s and got a job with Kenner Toys. My claim to fame is I was the first designer of Star Wars toys. Being a toy designer and I guess being a garden designer is similar in we're looking for how you interact with what you're doing. So if it's a toy, it's the toy feature, the aesthetics of it. In the garden, it's similar.
Growing up on our farm in North Dakota, all of us children would help in the garden. Not only would we plant, we would help with the weeding, but we also were given a packet of our favorite flower seeds that we could plant it, and we'd make sure we watered it and made sure it was growing fine.
People are coming into our garden. We take into effect how they're going to see it for the first time. We paved the garden path to be kind of a forced perspective. It makes it look longer than it really is.
To find other ideas would be mainly from traveling and seeing gardens, from friends' gardens.
We had a blank canvas. There was very little to worry about. So it was a process of, step by step. First the fence, then the paved area, and then the backyard where it's more the relaxing in the garden area.
The design things just happen by accident. As far as the maintenance, it would be able to be a couple hours a week. Mainly your watering, and your weeding where you need to. We are using a lot of perennials, so we don't have to continually plant the entire garden. We just add annuals for color.
I do get up early in the morning and water. And the maintenance, I'm not so much of a weeder, so it's probably good we have our preferences. I look at it aesthetically. Emery's down there in the detail in the weeds.
Overall, we enjoy working in the garden together, yes, but it's also a good time for each person to have their own space.
The plants change from time to time, and we've changed the way we use it a little bit.
One of the themes of the garden that I always wanted was to have a space that I could garden, but also entertain.
We've been looking at different ways to put plants on trellises. We're trying to get some color up high. We have hostas, and the textures, they provide, big broadleaf hostas, and the ferns have very fine looks to them. Coral bells come in an amazing array of things, and we've got different colors and different veining and things. And we look at that when we're putting it together, the different textures and the colors and trying to balance things out. The structures in the garden are really, some of it's from a practical point of view, like the fence, it's very economical material-wise. It's all done with 2x4s. We've actually thought about where we place pedestals to make sure that we have structure for things to stand on. We use ornaments in the garden, and they're really to draw your eye from one place to another. So the higher plants, the things on pedestals, draw your eye up from looking down. The sculptures tucked behind the plants allow you to look around and see something. They kind of give you some relief from just green and color. We don't have a lot of room, so we have to think about every little part of it.
When you are working in a smaller space garden, the main challenge I feel is to keep it balanced and a space that you can use.
The walls, they're not big, they just provide a visual break between the paved area to the more natural area.
The Japanese maple was planted about 20 years ago, and it was only a quarter of the size that it is now. And I really liked the idea of putting in the corner just to balance the corner. Some of the interesting elements we love about our garden, for one thing, would be the mirrors that we put onto the sides and the rear portion of the garden. Not only does it make the space look larger, I can look into the mirror and see the whole length.
Emery's more of a flower person, and I'm probably more the cactus and succulents. And I'm experimenting. I'm learning more about them, how to propagate them, how to reroot them.
The water features that we have really do add a nice element to the garden. The water fountains provide a relaxing sound.
Gives us a little bit of natural sound against all the hard sounds of the city.
I wanted a raised bed for vegetables because in a small garden, you don't have room for it. So for the salad bowl is what I call it. This raised bed on the side of the house gets very hot afternoon sun from 1 p.m. until the sun goes down. And the brick wall really bounces the heat back, so it really gives it a microclimate.
Out front, we had just another grassy slope, which was dangerous to cut because it was so steep. So we've decided to terrace the garden and put the walls up. When I finally could sell the last lawnmower at the yard sale, it was like being released from torture from way back. We have sedums out front that are 40 years old. They were a gift to a former resident here, and they've been planted for 40 years, and we've been moving them around, and it's amazing that after 40 years you're still dealing with the same plants. There's no magic to gardening. It just happens. So just relax and have fun with it.